process by which Sunday mornings begin. And it's kind of the same process by which all other times begin. Moment moves from one moment to the next. Time moves from one instant to the next. And the same is true about time on markets as it is about time in other things, even though time is relative. Anyway, happy Sunday to you all. Unbelievably, it is the 16th of February 2025, and that means tomorrow is Shalom. Hi, Shalom. Because tomorrow is the 17th of February, Monday, and tomorrow is George Washington's birthday holiday, federal holiday, also known as President's Day, because Abraham Lincoln's birthday was also not far from that, so they just call it President's Day. I guess to celebrate all presidents. Yay, how joyful. And in celebration of President's Day, there's going to be another fantabulous sale event at Alpha Trading for just one day, where you can get the trading indicators at a discount, and you can get the private tutoring at a discount. But apart from that, let's talk real quick about the Bitcoin market and Litecoin, Solana. Or as the title of this video said, Bitcoin, Litecoin, Solana, oh my. Or Bitcoin, Litecoin, and Sol, oh my. Sol, oh my? Solo mio? Anyway, what happened between Friday and Saturday, and now the beginning of Sunday? Or not so much the beginning if you're out all the way in Australia, right? It's already well into the afternoon or something. Well, what happened is that the markets distributed very nicely on Wednesday, Thursday, even Friday. And they mean reverted a lot, like on Bitcoin and Litecoin and a bunch of other coins that had a nice little pullback. Some markets kept distributing further, like Litecoin kept distributing up to, like, it got up to like $134 or something like that before it began its mean reversion. On the lower time frame, you can see that happening very nicely. Right around the time we started our live stream, actually, yesterday. And yeah, it was possible that it still had room to run, to be honest. But not all mean reversions have to begin from an extreme point, right? It just happens that when there is an extreme point, it's a much more obvious probability. So on the higher time frames, and even down on the lower time frames, Litecoin still has room to run to the upside. It could also run to the downside, but I'm just saying, like, that nice little move it made this past week was not all the juice it had in the tank. It's actually got plenty more room to run if the market is gonna, if the buy pressure applies itself to Litecoin, right? There is actually still a lot of upside that it could reach. And if it, here's the thing, right? If the assets were ever to go up at a certain rate and keep that rate, dynamic as it has to be, but keep it from actually expanding to an extreme, then in theory you could just keep going up, right? But once in a while it will hit extremes, and then it's like, well, there's definitely going to be a mean reversion, right? When I say going up, I mean it's going to keep going that direction. If an asset doesn't move so far as to hit a point where it must mean revert from, right, where it's very highly probable that it will mean revert from it. Right, and that could keep going in that direction. Right, but it really is inevitable that assets will jump to extremes and then slink off a little bit. Right, so you go from very little, usually very low returns, to suddenly a big expansion, whether it's to the upside or the downside of returns. Right, you get a big increase in returns, whether they're positive or negative, and then it trails off a little bit. You get diminishing returns until the point where it's going to mean revert, and the returns will go the other way and head back towards the mean. And that's something that if you know how to trade the returns and the VEPs, basically, then you know that. Because you see with every single asset, it's not like it's unique to one type of asset or the other. It's literally every asset. So, look at even the lower time frames. Right? Yeah, daily, 4 hour, 90 minute, 33, 15, 9, 6, 3, 1. You can look sub 1 minute if you have access to that. You'll see on every single one of these cases, just look at it candle by candle. Right? The price action is just following the returns. It's not the other way around. Right? And price action does not cause the volatility. It's volatility that causes the price action. Right? Because volatility and the correlation to the data set is what tells you the tendency of the probable direction of the price. Well, that standard deviation of returns and volatility gives you the returns. It's not the returns that give you the standard deviation of returns. It's the standard deviation of returns that give you the returns, which I know sounds confusing to people who don't get it. But it's what is the standard deviation of returns? It is variance. It is the spread of data around the mean. It is the delta between the ask and the bid price, right? It's literally a spread of data. It's a delta, right? A difference. And that volatility, that spread of data around the mean, when you correlate it to the past data set and even the current data set, that will tell you, right, which direction the returns are going. And that's why it's the tendency of the probability of price. Because by knowing which direction the returns are likely to go, and by knowing that price action follows the returns, you have a very clinical and logical order of processing the information. Right? First, know your volatility. And second, know your returns. And third, see that the price action is doing what it is supposed to do. And if the price action is out of step by a candle or two, that's okay. Price action can be out of step a candle or two, or even maybe a few candles. It will eventually. Usually, 1 or 2 candles is more than enough. But usually, within a candle or 2, maybe 3, maybe a little bit more, depends. But usually 1 or 2 candles, price action will follow the returns. Hey, bud. Hey. Hi. I see some of the happiest dogs. They're happy being dogs. All right. Anyway, so that is why we saw the markets distribute and mean revert in the ways that they did. It is why, for example, we saw a bunch of meme coins peak out on Friday, especially the ones that were Solana-based meme coins. Saw a lot of them peak out on Friday and mean revert on Friday and Saturday, and they are in many cases still mean reverting. And Solana also has been doing that. Right, it had a nice little move, relatively, in terms of its distribution, and is mean reverting. Litecoin, on the other hand, continued its distribution for an additional day or so beyond the Friday peaks. And so it was holding up very nicely yesterday. Right around the time our live stream started on the old Alpha Trading live streams. And then literally as we began our stream, Litecoin began ever so slightly to mean revert. And is doing so. Now, of course, Monday is a federal U.S. holiday, which means that traditional markets will not be open. And that means that, right, since traditional markets are not open, that means normally at Alpha Trading we have taken off federal holidays many times in the past because, hey, it's a holiday. But lately we've been doing live streams even during the holidays because the crypto market never sleeps, right? It runs 24/7, 365. It doesn't take a break for anything. So it means tomorrow, expect an Alpha Trading live stream at the usual time, 11 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. And just like we did yesterday, we'll be going over all the crypto markets and other things too. Besides, there are some other things around the world, right? Plenty of other assets and markets are open even when there's a U.S. holiday. So we can look at Japanese markets, Indian markets, European markets, whatever you want. Doesn't matter. Anyway, you get the point. So that'll do it for now. Happy days. Happy trading. Cheers.